Okay, so the plan is to use this skidder, and I'm gonna go find some sawmill trees, which are basically I'm looking for dead trees that are big and they're still good for sawing. And you can't sell dead trees, but we have a sawmill down there. So my uncle wants to find some dead trees because he wants to make some lumber for stuff. And dead trees works good as long as they don't have a whole bunch of beetle kill in them. So yeah, I checked the engine oil, the antifreeze, and the hydraulic oil. How much fuel is in there? It still has a lot of fuel. Normally when I'm going out, well, it's kind of far away. Not that far though, but it's our land. Normally I'd want to bring another machine with me, like a quad on the back or something, but I can't really do that, so. But this thing's been running pretty good though. And I got the tire chains on here. It's kind of a weird system. Bunch of clevises hold stuff together. The tire chains are on there, and the winch doesn't work, but it's got chains, a blade, and I have a bunch of chains at the back that I can use. The thing isn't as good as it should be, but it's good enough to use. And the battery is bungee corded in there. I think that's okay. And yeah, I guess there's not much else it needs. I think there's polish for this, but I'm just gonna use brake cleaner. See if that works. I should be using a cleaner cloth, but we need to buy some stuff. We're kind of running out of supplies of stuff. It definitely helped. These glasses are getting kind of old because they're getting scratched up. And there really should be a way to polish these. There probably is. And then you don't have to buy new ones. But these are usually pretty cheap anyway. Like last year we went to Chieftain and or a year before, they got 12 pairs for $5 or something. And I saw a video testing the expensive ones versus the cheap ones. The cheap ones are pretty much the way to go. Because you don't want to be spending $100 on safety glasses. Okay, so this tree here that I'm going to cut. Now, I cut into that one, but it never fell. And then I moved the skidder, and I was chaining up another tree. I think I was going to pull it out. And then I just looked, and that tree had fallen exactly where I wanted it to. So I think I cut that tree, it weakened it. And then a small gust of wind gave it a little push, and then it fell down. And I didn't even see it fall. I was looking in the other direction. I was far away from it. And, I was dealing with putting it, like getting the chain on something at the back of the skidder. And then I just looked up, and that tree fell. Reason that log wasn't coming out because the end of it was kind of caught on something, so I cut that. So even though this thing the winch doesn't work on it, a chain like that, it's okay. It's just so stupid driving a skidder without a winch, because that's kind of what their whole job is skidding. This thing's getting old, but I've still got some decent logs. I think these would be really good for lumber. If they're not good for lumber, they'll still make good firewood. I just noticed that tree fell down on its own, and I was so busy dealing with the chain that I didn't even hear it or see it. But that's nice. Actually, that's exactly how I wanted it. That's the best angle it could have fallen. So that was nice. And that looks like that's a pretty nice big log. So, this skidder has such a problem turning. The back end of it just slips out all over the place. So I think I like the tractors better. But yeah, these two logs, I could try to get that, but it's kind of a hard thing to drive. So while it's on the road, let's just take these two out of here, and then we'll come back for this one. So as you can see in this clip, this skidder just starts sliding, and either it doesn't have differentials in it, or someone welded up the gears in them, because it slides like that, and it's impossible to steer, and then you just go straight, and then you get stuck. So I had to just take it at this shot here. I just kind of unhooked it and then drove it home. And then right when I took the skidder home, I just drove the tractor right back out again. And this winch here has a problem. It's not that old of a winch. It's not meant to be used for logs, but you can see it kind of sticks like this, and it's really hard to pull out. So this winch is not meant to be used as a skidder. It's meant for pulling the truck out when it gets stuck every once in a while. So, but the hydraulic controls, one of them has a locking feature that'll make the winch unturn, just like the skidders, just like the PTO winch. So I just use that, and that works well. Look at the genius. He has been looking into space. Look at me, I'm just looking into space. I was just staring at a tree there and then going back to work. So funny. What the heck happened? What the tractor disappeared? Oh, now it reappeared. Somehow Seth McKellar knows how to step outside of time with machines, which is kind of amazing. So we were just down that road. There's a clearing, and then there's why does my hand look so shiny? It's weird. Look at that. Looks like I have vitiligo. Like shiny. Anyway, that's probably decent. This one, maybe the bottom of it would be good for firewood, but it would also be well, it's mainly for firewood. But I guess if we're here, we may as well get it. And then there's one that's down. So this one, it might be rotten. So it might not be too good for firewood, if I can even get it out. It might be kind of a difficult one to get out. Maybe not. I guess if I just cut it in 12 footers here and then pull it out. I think this one's, I'll cut into it. I'll cut the stump off, and that's how I'll be able to tell if it's still good for milling or is it too rotten. Or, might be partially rotten. Also, where the stump is, there's a tree there. It might be big enough. And so I think I can just pull them all out here. Yeah. So you can see that when I lift the loader up, you see how the bucket slowly tilts down? I think that's because in the control valve, there's a bad seal. So the oil slowly leaks through the valve back into the reservoir or the transmission, because it's a hydraulic transmission system. So that's why that bucket tilts down. There's a bad valve in the hydraulic manifold. So I pulled out those logs that are at the landing, And then the battery died, so I couldn't film it. And I want to get a portable charger one day. So now I'm gonna get this one and this longer one in the bush. The one that was in front of it, or actually I never was able to get it. Actually, no, maybe I won't get that one. The cable broke off. One of the chokers broke off. That choker is, the cable's bent anyway. This one I'll leave. This one, that one's easy to get. This one's only good for, it's frozen too. That's not, I'm not gonna bother with that. This one I'll just cut the stump off of, get this one for firewood. And then there's a big one up a hill that'll be, you know, it's starting to get dark, so see if we can get that one. And this model of Kubota, if it didn't have the burning control, no, it is a newer tractor, but if it didn't have the pollution filter in it, this would be a nice tractor because I really like the gear system on there, just like a standard truck. 6 gears, they're ranged perfectly. The thing has lots of power. So I think this is a pretty good model of tractor. The only issue is it has way too many hours on it. So that's why the 4-wheel drive. Well, I don't know. I mean, you pull it up, there's gears grinding. Actually, no, it doesn't even work. So something's weird going on with the 4-wheel drive. This tractor has too many hours on it. So that's why we're going to trade it in. Yeah, my uncle is. Anyway. Yeah. Other than that, I like driving this one. This is a pretty nice tractor, I guess. Let's cut that and then get rid of the stump. Okay, so my uncle tried to get up here with a 108 Kubota, but he couldn't make it. And that tractor doesn't have tire chains on it. But I want to see if I can get up here with the 99. That was unbelievable. That tractor, the 4-wheel drive, doesn't even work on it. Well, I didn't have chains on it. I think the chains may have made the difference, but you gotta know how to drive tractors. Sometimes you gotta treat them like a Jeep. Put them in high range. Have the throttle. I had the throttle up, and then I put my foot on the locker, differential lock pedal, and yeah, I made its way up here. No tire span on it, but it made it up here. Okay, so as you can see, there's a, well, maybe you can't see too well, but there's a really big tree that fell. That stump tree fell like that. And so that's the goal of coming up here, is to get that. I think there are a few other dead trees around here that are good for lumber. back here, this is the next day, and this log is huge. And that's the small end of it. It's still a huge end. And the big end of it is, this was quite a challenge for the tractor. That's the big end. No, that's about, it's past my knee. There's still another, maybe 2 good logs on this. Okay, so I found another couple of trees. So this one right here, it looks like it's really big and dangerous, but it's actually leaning really nicely in one direction. So it's not, no, it's not easy, but it's not that difficult either. Should be pretty easy, because this is a dead tree. It's standing, but it's very dead. I can see all the way up at the top, it's dead. It's kind of a reddish color. And then there's one other one. It's in there somewhere. You can't quite. Yeah, it's right there behind this green one. There's another big dead one, and the top broke off of it. But it's really big, so I want to get it, see if it's any good. And that one, that's debatable. It's tall. It's not that thick, and it might still be partially alive, but I'm not going to take it down if it's green. This might still be the egg leaf we're on, or part of it, so I'm not sure. I'm only going to take down the dead ones. Okay, so this is the tree here. This is a new record for the biggest tree I've ever cut. And you can see how much this one's leaning. It's leaning so it'll fall in that direction. It's pretty clear that way. Now this might make a really good lumber tree, and this is dead. And then the other one is leaning as well. Such a big coincidence. They're both leaning in pretty much a perfect direction. This is the neighbor's land. There's a fence here, so yeah. Good. Half and half. Let's give it a try. It's creeping that way. It's slowly falling. I can see that. No, it's falling. Come there! That was amazing. And that fell. It didn't kick or anything. It was near, it was as perfect as it went exactly the way I wanted it to. This is a good log. I may even need to try to, I don't know, I should be able to cut it up and pull it out with the tractor. And now we have to do this one, which is even taller. I never thought I'd be a logger, but apparently I am. This one's gonna be pretty much the same story. And this chainsaw is loud, so what I do is I turn my hearing aids off, and then the mold will act like an earplug. Now the fuel. Let's get the fuel. I like to carry the fuel in little containers like this. This is useful. That way you can fit these almost anywhere. You could almost fit it in your pocket if you wanted to. Well, that worked well. That was also a perfect cut. That was unnecessary, but just for fun. But my name and my age and these trees. So this was the third tree I may not have mentioned. There's one of the other trees I saw. This one's leaning that way. You know, I'll cut a notch in the front of it because it's not leaning that bad. But it's dead. So let's get this one too while we're here. So yeah. It's a decent sized log. It's not huge, but you know, it's still good enough. So let's take this one. I got my helmet, but there's nothing really that's gonna fall down on this one. It doesn't have any giant dead branches on it. Everything's attached. So I'm not worried about this one, but normally I'd want that helmet. That was perfect. Okay, well I finally got all the limbs off of them, and I cut them into roughly 20 feet. I'm dumb, I forgot to bring the stupid tape with me twice. That's the second time I forgot. But yeah, they're roughly in 20 something feet. And so we'll cut them down to whatever. I think our mill, the maximum it can take is about 20 feet. But that was a lot of work. So before we pull these out, let's have some fun. Okay, another thing I should mention is this actually is my uncle's land. I thought it was an egg lease, but the egg lease is actually pretty small. So this is all our land, which means that I legally can take down any green tree I want. But all the trees I cut down were dead. Or 99% dead. So I wasn't eliminating the forest. I was taking stuff down that was already dead to a point, I guess. And this tree here, it's not that big. That might also be good for lumber or firewood. I think I'll take that one down too. I mean, it's probably gonna fall down soon anyway. But I'm not sure. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, there's kind of green stuff growing at the top there. May leave that. And then there's one in the snowbank there. That's a good log. But yeah, so now slipping on snowballs. And so now, basically we just pull them out. It's hard to balance in small ones. So I cut them at about 20 feet there. So yeah, each log is about 20 feet. There is a couple firewood logs, like, no, this here, however long that is, that'll be firewood. This is lumber, that end is firewood. And then the rest of the big ones are lumber, except for this one. This one, see, it's kind of rotten and broken. Might just fall apart right there. And then I cut it. There's, I think, 2 good logs. 1 or 2 good logs on this tree here. Yeah, I cut it here. And then I got, yeah, so 2 good. This one maybe not. That one for sure is the big one. That's good for lumber. And I cut the end off of that one so that they're straight for the mill. And if these have any faults in here, they're still great for firewood because they're not green, so I can just buck them up. Let's start pulling trees out. the camera on that big stump. So that's how I'm able to get it this high. apparently tractors are pretty good for logging, but you just have to keep your eyes rolling as fast as you can, because you got to make sure you don't drive over anything that could stick up and damage the tractor. But other than that, even in two-wheel drive, I don't know about other two-wheel drive tractors that are made to be two-wheel drive, but this one, the 4x4, doesn't work. I don't know why. But yeah, yesterday I pulled the lever up and it worked for about 2 seconds and then died again. So, for being two-wheel drive, this thing has been absolutely amazing. I can't believe some of the stuff you push through with it. That's a 99 horsepower tractor, and it works really well. I'm actually kind of surprised. It might also be the weight of the machine that helps with that too. So yeah, it's a lot better than I expected, and it works better than the log skidder. So let's continue pulling trees out, I guess. And this log here is pretty big. This is the big one, and that one's the big one. But I think it'll handle it. So I pulled logs that big before. I just don't want to use the winch to ravel in or out. I don't want to wear it out. So this one, I'll just pull it the way it is. I won't try not to use the winch. Made a nice trail in here. Like this, before I felled those trees, it was a pretty open forest. Now, most forests around here are very tight pack. There's trees every couple of inches, or, it's kind of like as close as those trees, or a little less. I think it was logged in here years ago. So here's mainly stuff like that I was pushing out of the way, so not too much. But I did push some odd trees down, like over here, so that tractor does pretty good. Here's the log. This is the thick end of it, and then, there's some damage there, but I don't think it's a problem. Maybe we'll just cut that off. But even the skinny end of this log, that's still a big log. So this is worth a lot of lumber, a lot of wood. Okay, well that was very successful getting lots of big trees down that I have not cut down that big of a tree before. Wide it is, like from the small end. That's still big enough. Still pretty big too. And what's nice is I wasn't harming anything because these were all dead trees or relatively dead trees that I cut down. This will be a firewood tree here. But I'm pretty happy with all these logs. A lot of these are good. They're still good even though they're dead, so it's like I'm recycling. Lots of nice lumber here. I think my uncle wants to make we have a sawmill. My uncle wants to make some boards for building like a shed or a barn or something. Yeah, that little tractor does not little, but 99 horsepower. I think that's more than 99 horsepower. It says 99, but I think that's over 100. But it does a pretty good job pulling these. And for being in two-wheel drive, the four-wheel drive's broken on here. So I still did pretty good. But now what we need to do is pull these down. So basically I'll be going down this trail, down into the field where that steep hill is. That's a bit of a hazard, but I go down there, I go across the field to right around where the dam is, and then I'll put the logs there, and then we can load them with the trailer and bring them back to the mill. So I was just making a time lapse, and the phone battery died, so I got a charger on here. This is like a DC AC adapter. It's got 2 plug-ins, and it also has a USB. It's a little rusty, but it still works. I just plugged it in. So this thing's kind of handy for, I guess, charging smaller stuff, but it won't operate an angle grinder, so it can't really do a lot, but it will charge your phone. Okay, so after I finished charging that phone, I continued pulling logs with the tractor, and then I had 4 on there. Maybe that was a bit too much, but didn't seem like it. Anyway, the tractor kind of slid out of the ruts that it was on, kind of got stuck a little bit, and then 2 of the logs fell off, and I kept going with the 2 logs. And then it slid off the road again and got stuck and tore up the barbed wire fence. And I was kind of able to get out of there. And then I got the 2 logs to the landing and went back for the other 2. And then the loader stopped working. Like the cable from the control to the hydraulic manifold broke. It's a really stupid system. They shouldn't be making them like that. But anyway, that's what happened. And then I didn't record anything else. So that's kind of it for this video. It's getting long.